Hey, in today's video, we're going over the Medicare or the FEHB or the combination or what do you do? It's a big decision. At your federal retirement, you need to figure out. You'll have to figure out, do you take Medicare? Do you not? Do you keep FEHB? What are you going to do? And so we've got a new book, Your First Federal Retirement, the 10 decisions that can make or break your retirement. And the Medicare decision is one of those. And in today's video, that's what we're going over. My name is Mel Stubbs. I'm a financial planner with Christy Capital Management, helping federal employees retire better. In today's video, we're going to be alongside financial planner Joe Matthews and financial planner Tommy Neesmith as we discuss the FEHB Medicare decision at retirement. Stay tuned.
And so now we're going to look at decision point number 8, and that is FEHB and Medicare. And so when you retire, if you had federal health insurance for 5 years, you're going to carry that into retirement potentially. And so let's say you retire at age 62 and now you roll into age 65. The question that we get often is, do I need to turn on Medicare Part B? You know, Medicare Part A, everyone's been paying into, you pay into every paycheck, and that's going to turn on automatically. But then the question for federal retirees is, Medicare Part B something I need to look at? Mel and Joe, can you talk about some of the options that a federal retiree would have as it relates to Medicare Part B or any other type advantage plan that may come about?
Sure. So with Medicare Part B, you do have the option to turn that on. If you're already drawing your Social Security check, that premium will come out of your Social Security check. But do you have to? No, you do not. If you don't turn on Medicare Part B, there is a 10% penalty for every year that you delay turning that on. A lot of people do utilize Medicare Part B, but one thing to keep in mind is that you want to check to be sure that your doctor does accept Medicare Part B, because some physicians do not. So you want to be sure that you investigate that.
On the 10% penalty, that's only if you choose to turn it on. So if you choose not to turn on FEHB and you go your whole remaining retirement, and you never turn, if you choose not to turn on Medicare and you go your whole retirement never having turned it on, there's no penalty. It's only a penalty if you turn it on later. So the key thing is to decide what you want to do at that window and stick with it. Tommy, what happens to people if they get both of them? Why would somebody get both Medicare and FEHB?
Just really have kind of a secondary coverage. It really kind of depends on what you think and how you feel about out-of-pocket cost. In working with federal retirees, oftentimes FEHB in combination with Medicare Part A is sufficient, but that's a case-by-case basis that you have to think of. Medicare in and of itself was really designed for someone who is not retiring from the federal government, because most people who retire that are not federal retirees do not have health insurance as robust as FEHB going into retirement. And so I'm not here to say, like, don't take Medicare Part B. Please talk to someone who's qualified to kind of show you those options and look at. But oftentimes, FEHB in combination with Medicare Part A meet the needs for federal retirees. So look at the options for Part B. Make sure that it's appropriate for you to take it if you need to take it, because if you do take Medicare Part B, there's an additional cost that comes with that. And not just an additional cost, but that cost is based upon your income. And so that kind of leads us to the next part of, if we're doing tax planning, if you're doing Roth conversions, it could really affect what your Medicare cost ends up being. And so Mel, can you touch on that?
So we talked earlier about how required minimum distributions can push your income higher and how that could be a problem. Well, if the income gets too high, it affects your Medicare premiums. So at 65, you turn on Medicare. Medicare wants to determine how much to charge you. They look at your income 2 years prior at age 63. And so there's kind of a window from 59.5 to 62 that you could do tax planning purely based off the tax bracket and how much taxes you want to pay. Once you hit age 63, you can still do that, but just know if your income goes high enough, you might cause your Medicare to go up. Now, could the tax savings offset the Medicare premiums? Absolutely. But we found somehow, if you're talking with your friends and you find out you're paying more in Medicare than your friend is, people get really mad at that. we could save you thousands of dollars on taxes. My Medicare is $20 higher than his. What's up with that? So Keep them, there's a window, 59.5 to 62, where you can tax plan at liberty. But starting at 63, if you choose Medicare, that may limit some of the tax planning.
Yep, that's good information, and I think Medicare is one of those pieces that really you need to sit down with someone and who's a fiduciary who kind of knows your overall financial aspect and your plan, and so that is just one of the pieces to plug into. But it can make a difference in how much you pay, and also it can make a difference in how much coverage you have as you go into your retirement. So great conversation around Medicare.
Hey, well, there you have it. I hope that discussion on that decision was helpful. It comes from our new book going over the 10 decisions you have to make at retirement. It's available on Amazon. There should be a little QR code here. Make sure if you want to go more in detail, you want to reach out and get it, make sure you do so. If you need individualized help, you want to talk to us, feel free to do so. Right up here, there's going to be another video that's important to your planning, so make sure you check it out.